We are here in the Letsgobotics Robotics Lab, official robotics lab, and I'm doing a quick tour of how everything is set up so you get an idea of how we do things. I will explain these mats and boxes in a minute, but we have this official lab here, and then we have extension, which is another similar table, robotics table, in which the students do. We have one set of students, one team doing their challenge here, and another set of students that work here, and then we have them switch the table so that their robot gets kind of maximum testing grounds. So they have the objective on the whiteboard, they know what to do, and their names are by the work. They give the tasks to themselves and divide work the way they see best fit and suited to each student. Sometimes we intervene as coaches and divide work too, if we find that something is not appropriately done. So let me start with this table here, which is like a research area. You know, when they have to find certain programs, we have a membership with a sort of a forum where we get tutorials, and they use those for these robots. And they also innovate those robots. It's not done exactly to specification. They find that things don't usually work. Sometimes the wheels fall off, the attachments are not exactly according to the missions that are here in the table. So they change things and they fix things and they customize it a lot. So one part of their FLL program is to come up with a robot that solves certain missions on this table within 2.5 minutes. Very challenging, very interesting, fun, but that's just a part of FLL. There's a lot more to FLL, but this is going to be just a tour of the facility, so I'm not going to go into details of what FLL entails. We have shelves here, and we have a lot of containers and a lot of little things organized. It may look very overwhelming, but it's really just simple containers with stuff organized in a way that the students know where to put things back. They're supposed to put it on the shelf. So basically they take all these boxes out and they lay it out here on the floor. We have tried and tested many times with tables, and students always feel comfortable working on the floor. Lego parts tend to fall out a lot, so picking them up, bending down, picking them up is a waste of time. So we have this blue mat here where they work on attachments, and then we have this colorful rug here where they work on mission models that come apart if they break, and they're very fragile and they do break, and you cannot continue the mission, you cannot continue testing your robot until you fix those missions. So we put them down on the floor here like this, and the kids work on it and fix it. And then you have a bunch of kids working on different types of attachments. So attachments are all these things that get attached to the robot. Basically the limbs, if you would like to call it in layman's terms. And they go in various sides of the robot. They have a research area, like I mentioned. They do need laptops for programming and for research, so they have lots of laptops and tablets and all that. Here the kits are not exactly classified as kits. They are classified into let me just quickly show you here. You have like gears and wheels in one, pegs in another, and so forth. So all they have to do is they take the boxes out, they work on it, and all they have to do is put it back in the shelf. Doesn't really matter which order. There's more kits than these. This is what they use. We have other kits put away for later usage. Then we have a projector and a projector screen, which we use quite often because they need to look at other teams, what they do, and there's quite a bit of FLL videos that they have to watch to get the feel of how the FLL team works. We have a lot of printing involved in FLL as well. They have engineering notebooks, they have certain handouts that should be given. So all those are printed out there. So over here is just a lounge area for them. They do rest, they do take breaks. Very few, but sometimes we have 3-hour sessions and they kind of need to get out of the closed enclosure and then just come back to work. So this is the other team's robot and they're working on their missions. It's very nice to see different types of robots coming up to do the same tasks. So sometimes this robot does things in a very simple way, which that robot struggles with, and vice versa. So that's about it. Oh, I forgot to mention the boxes over here. This is a scrimmage and qualifier kit we keep ready. So we have a charging station, we have a robot box, cable, USB cables, chargers, laptops, anything that needs to go to a scrimmage with us is ready to go. So all they need to do is just put their attachments and robots into those and take those. They do also take the mats because scrimmagers don't have sometimes seating for everybody. They just have 6 chairs and we may have like a 10-member team. So we take everything we need from food to snacks, and the trash cans there, they're supposed to throw things in the garbage. There's a lot of trash involved in FLL. We have some documentation up there from previous years, from previous seasons. And yes, lots and lots of robotics kits and robotics parts and pegs and beams and gears and all that sort of things that they need to spread out on the floor and work. So that's a quick tour of the facility, showing what our kids kind of meetings look like. It's not so calm when they're here. It's kind of chaotic, but they all know what they're doing and they all know their zones. They know how to step on the mat if someone's working there, because it's probably having a lot of loose pieces around. And they also have to clean up before they leave. It's part of the rules, because they need to know how to finish something that they start. They need to have organizing skills. So they cannot just leave everything everywhere and walk away. All they have to do is, like I said, just put it back in the shelf. We just don't want anything on the floor. We don't like to have anything on this table either. So we just want them to have these, only the mission models here, only the attachments here, the robot here, and the robot preferably should be put to charge when they leave. So thank you very much, and do leave a comment and a thumbs up if you like this.